Hey YouTubers, this is Platt, and this is another one of our videos as part of our beer style series. For those of you that hadn't seen one of my videos, I've got a separate playlist set up, and if you're kind of new to the craft beer world, it's kind of a nice way to break you into the different styles, and you can go on and check that out. Today, the beer we're going to talk about is, in my opinion, the beer that kind of helped brought about the great craft beer revolution in America 20, 30 plus years ago, and that's the American Pale Ale. It's the American spin on the British classic Pale Ale. Really, Pale Ales came about around 1980 when Sierra Nevada started creating their Pale Ale. Before that, Fritz Maytag had done one or two kind of limited edition Pale Ales, but the Sierra Nevada Pale Ale around 1980 became the first kind of full-time domestic-made Pale Ale. And it's from that point of view I want to kind of take this video today. If you were around back then, you probably remember in most bars you had your Miller High Lifes, your Budweiser, your Coors Original. You might have had a Miller Lite in there that was coming around at that time, and then you probably had your regional brews, your Hams, your Strohs, your Lone Stars, and what have you. Maybe on the East Coast you might have had a pub that had Guinness or Bass, you know, some foreign drafts. But here in America at the time, it was light beer, and light beer. And so when this beer came out, it probably really shook some people's world up as to what beer can be. We'll start off with the numbers. SRM 6 to 14. Again, we're adding color to this beer. This is, you know, no way a dark beer, however, but in 1980, we started getting color. IBUs, and that's where this beer was kind of revolutionary here in America. 30 to 50. These aren't hot bombs in any way, but again, in 1980, when you might have found a Pilsner that had a little hop bite to it, but these really brought hoppiness to American beer. ABV 4.5 to 5.5. Not high in alcohol, but again, it was a step in a different direction back then. Temperature-wise, we're going to serve this 45 to 50. Color, you're going from a deep golden to maybe a light copper. But again, the beers at those times were, you know, almost champagne in color, a real light straw, even. These beers are still fairly clear. You might get a little haze, but for the most part, they're clear. Carbonation, still fairly carbonated. Medium plus on the carbonation. Again, alcohol is not real high, but these might have been the first beers that people might have noticed a little, not warming sensation, but that you definitely could pick it up. Again, compared to a lot of these mid-3s to mid-low 4% beers that were being drunk at the time, this was, again, a step up. Again, probably the revolution that these beers brought about was the hop flavors. Compared to the IPAs, double IPAs, Russian Stouts of today, these seem, you know, almost like a Coors Light or Miller Lite. But back then, again, these revolutionized hops. I bet in 1980, if you asked a lot of beer drinkers, they probably didn't even know what hops were. And so when they took a swig of a pale ale back then, it probably was like, whoa, what is this? So, but by today's standards, medium to medium high on the hoppiness. And that was also what made this beer, distinguish this beer from the pale ale, was the use of the American hops. They were citrusy, piney, just floral, compared to the traditional old world hops that are being used in England at the time. And that's kind of what gave this beer a unique character. Also, the additional maltiness to balance with those hops probably got people to wake up. You get a little biscuity, you know, a little bready notes. And again, we've heard the term that beer is liquid bread. Well, that probably was a shock to a lot of beer drinkers in 1980. Probably made them stand up and realize that, because again, you get those flavors that you wouldn't think about liquid bread drinking a Bud Light per se. These beers go real good with grilled meats, mild cheddars, or whatever. And the one I'm going to try today is the Fire Rock Pale Ale from Kona Brewing. If you ever had any of their beers, a great little brewery out in Hawaii. So let's give her a try. Now this particular pale ale has a nice copper color, so it's a little on the darker end of some of the pale ales. We got a nice little short khaki head. I'm getting plenty of bubbles, so you can tell it's effervescent. Let's give it a smell. Getting a nice malt, roasty. Not really roasty, but more of the malt, softer malts on the nose. Again, in the early 80s, the Coors Light, Miller Lite drinkers probably like, what? Wow, what is this? Let's give her a try. Oh, that's nice. That's real nice. It's very drinkable, very approachable. Nice medium finish in the back. And that's, again, probably something in context. In the early 80s, you probably weren't even thinking about the finish on a beer. But now you've got a finish or something that still lingers in there. Not a lot by today's standards. But again, in 1980, I can imagine somebody drinking this and just being blown away. That is a nice drinkable beer, something I can drink on a patio on a spring day. And I want to challenge you, I was just thinking, I want to challenge you, some of the hardcore beer drinkers that, you know, kind of poo-poo the domestic beers and would even poo-poo something like a pale ale. I only drink double stouts and Russian Imperial stouts and this, that, and the other. Go for a few days, get you a 6-pack of Miller Lite, Coors Light, what have you. Have a few over the next few days, and then try a pale ale. And just see how that, again, in that world, that context, this beer still has flavor. Nowadays, again, everybody's into all these exotic, erotic beers. But a nice pale ale still, to me, still has plenty of flavor, plenty of malt and hops and sophistication. And so I challenge you to take it from, you know, a simple beer drinker, have a few days where you're just drinking domestics, you know, a domestic light or whatever, and then try a pale ale. Well, I hope you liked this video. And if you did, please subscribe down below. Excuse me. And if you have any questions, comments, or concerns, or any ideas, or maybe a beer you want me to review or talk about, please leave it in the comments section, or you can always follow me on the Twitter page. Well, until next time, bottoms up.